After taking another step in trying to fix a broken Madden franchise, we did see some slightly smoother play, though we still are seeing a whole lot of issues surrounding this time opposing quarterbacks, still a little bit of problems with our own quarterbacks, and offensive line play definitely can use some tweaking. Though we did at least see a very competitive game that ultimately came down to a 2-minute drive which we needed to get a touchdown and the 2-point conversion, but came up short as we would lose to the Commanders 24-16. Now, as we start today's episode, a couple things of note. There was an update for Madden. Now, I did not want to download it, told the game to not download, or told my Xbox to not download it, but it downloaded it anyway because I wanted to see what the changes were prior to downloading it and seeing if that was going to make anything worse for us. And in a way, I think it possibly could have. So there were a lot of things updated, and if you want to see the full list, definitely go check it out yourself. If I remember, I'll add a link to it in the description below. But the main one that I have note of here that I personally am not a big fan of reads as follows. Fixing an issue causing undesired catch drops when the quarterback would get hit during or shortly after throwing the ball. Which sounds good, right? Yeah, fix the problems where we're just not catching the ball. I personally haven't had much of any problem with that. The problem I've had is that anytime a defender is within 3 yards of our quarterback, he can't throw to save his life. But what has me concerned is the dev note on it. Now, it says in our September title update, we included a fix to decrease the chance for defenders to catch the ball quickly after a quarterback passes out. It says pass out, but that doesn't quite make sense. Passes out of a hit. But that fix had unintentionally resulted in the decreased chance of anyone catching that ball globally, meaning across the field, no matter who it was, they just wouldn't catch the ball. In response, we are backing that change out of the game to return catch chances to previous values. This will temporarily re-induce situations that allow pass rushers to sometimes catch the ball when the quarterback throws out of a hit, but we plan to refine that logic without impacting the global catch chance in an upcoming title update. So essentially, what they've done is they had a broken game. A broken game mechanic. The quarterback would either get hit right before or during the throw, and it would get intercepted by the defensive line. So they changed it, and by changing it, they made it to where no one could catch the ball. And then to fix that, they just put it back to the way it was. So hopefully we don't see that have any more negative effect on what has already been a pretty broken franchise for us. To try to help fix what we have seen, we're going to be making some slight tweaks, and we did not talk about the defensive line last episode, and we're going to start today talking a little bit about that. So let's take a look at our roster. While we did see some sacks come back and play for our defensive line last game, it was pretty much just one person who was getting them, and that was over at the right end spot with Johnny Smith. So looking at him specifically, prior to that game, we had not had a single sack or much of any pass rush from a defensive lineman for about 3 games. Johnny Smith, with a -1 morale, has 90 finesse moves, and he has been struggling to get to the quarterback. Now, we might be going up against really good finesse blockers, so then you have to rely a little bit more on the power blocking, or power rushing, and he definitely doesn't have that. But still, 90 finesse moves, and he's struggled a whole lot. On the other side, we've had a variety of different guys play this edge spot. Carl Lawson, will take a look at his ratings. We have 83 finesse and 77 power, so a little bit more spread even there, but he really hasn't gotten back there at all. The other option we've had was Nick Bonito prior to him getting injured. He's currently on IR. He has 82 finesse moves and 63 power, so a step back from what we have in Smith, but he also had not been getting to the quarterback at all this season, though in the season before, he did so well he earned a superstar dev from, I want to say it was even a normal. So something changed, and now we are no longer getting much of any sort of pass rush, even from our DTs, where we have Nick Bell. He was a 6th overall pick. Don't think he's played as well as he should be, and I also don't think he should have been a 6th overall pick. but he doesn't have a dominant pass rush move, and we're not seeing him get back there at all. So that a little bit more fitting, but there should be an occasional pass rush, a hurry. The other option we've had is Luke Peek. Now, he had a lot of sacks last year. Same amount of power moves here, not getting back there at all. So we shouldn't be seeing dominating pass rush outside of anyone from Johnny Smith, but we should be seeing some, and we're just not. So in our continued effort here to try to fix what has been pretty bad gameplay this year for franchise, we're going to be making a couple more changes. I don't think we need to adjust run blocking. While the offensive line has been an issue, I don't think run blocking has been much of an issue. Where I do think we could use something is pass blocking. We've had Tyron Smith, one of the best tackles in the game, have truly awful season. Smith has given up 4 hits, 9 hurries, and 4 sacks. You can't be a top 3 tackle in this game with that kind of numbers only at the halfway point. So we're going to bump up pass blocking by 1. We are not going to be changing quarterback accuracy for the user player, though we will be making a change to the quarterback accuracy for the CPU, because we've seen Matt Corral just go absolutely off on us, dime after dime. And then last episode, we had I want to say it was a second-year quarterback, Schmidt, for the Commanders. Again, throwing dime after dime. He had 92% completion, and his accuracy ratings really weren't anything special. So we're going to take a little bit more of a dramatic hit there, lowering quarterback accuracy by 2. The next thing we're going to do is actually bump up our tackling. We have been a truly horrific tackling team, broken tackles after broken tackles. While we have good tackling ratings, and this is what I want the series to be, purely ratings based. So we're going to again bump that one up by 1, and we're going to rock with these changes for now, see if that does end up fixing anything. If we are seeing too much, then we'll definitely need to do some more tweakings. Now, obviously we didn't change the blockings for the CPU yet, because again, we only have one edge rusher who's really, truly a star, I would say, with one of those ratings. So we're going to hold off for now, but if we continue to see just no pass rush at all, we will start to tweak some things. So that is what we're rocking with today. As we're taking on the Green Bay Packers, they have a young quarterback with no short accuracy, semi-decent medium, but pretty good deep accuracy with a lot of throw power. So if he's just dinking and diming us, no problem, perfect accuracy down the field, we'll continue to make the changes there. For their defense, they do have Jair Alexander, though their defense in general is just pretty average. Their offense struggles outside of running the ball, so we know what we need to do today: stop the run, and hopefully Madden doesn't break and make a bad passing team a great passing team. So let's jump in here and see if these fixes help. Underway on Thursday Night Football, looking for a second win on the season would be beautiful as they take the touchback starting back at the 25. Again, their young quarterback here in McLeod, he is a down the field quarterback. Though as most young quarterbacks are, he is susceptible to some turnovers. 13 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, though he's relying heavily on a run game, but Nick Bell showing up play 1 with a loss of 3. Of all the defensive linemen, he's definitely in the hottest seat moving into this off season. We've seen the least from him and we spent the most amount on him. And he almost gets the play there, but he at least slows down Jones, who just gets a gain of 1. Though that leaves him with 3rd and long. And this is where we should see the best play, though. They actually go with the dive, breaking to the outside. Diving is a miss. A great block downfield from Reed. Luckily, Curse knows this Packers team pretty well, and he gets the stop. But a great call from the Packers OC. Saw us in off-man coverage, went with the draw, and they ran it very well. Once again, opening up more lanes, breaking a couple tackles, and will be another first down for Jones. 4 rushes, 42 yards. Though most of those yards obviously on the big first down rush as he heads off the field. Godwin back there. They go right back to the run game, and luckily Swain there. But the injury there for Solomon definitely going to hurt. That'll bring in Chanel, and at least all of our base packages. Does not affect our nickel sets as we have a 3rd and 5 with an option right across the middle and a big swat, though Carl Lawson also shaken up. 2 big injuries on the first drive. And we've already caught word that Solomon will not be returning to this game. Lawson is questionable, as the Packers will go on to score the field goal to end their first drive, leaving them up 3-0 as we head out on offense. Stroud needs to recover from a pretty bad game a couple games ago, which saw his touchdown to interception ratio nearly turn negative. As we are going to start with a rolling pass, trying to fight a little bit of a gap, and we do to Tommy Tremble. That throw on the run was nice. And his rating for it, I want to say, is an 80. So we should see some decent throw on the runs here and there. Maybe not perfect every time, but definitely not just not possible, as Akers try to get the juke there on Alexander, who slows him down, but we do gain 9. And against this Packers team, who do have some pretty good guys in this secondary, Jair Alexander and Kendrick Riddick. Both superstars will need to keep our eye out on as we try to set up a little bit of RPO, and close to the first, though marked short. So we'll bring out the big guns here. The heavy set, they bring down a linebacker. We're running right at him, or a little bit of a juke, or apparently falling over is Taguara, but we pick up the first. Now, one thing to note, we have shaken up this offensive line today. McAllister is back in. He's dealt with injuries a lot this year. He's back out there at center. Now, he's probably been our best, as speaking of best, Nakua with a big first down to the 26. He's definitely come alive the last few games. Nice to see him improving, but going back to the offensive line, again, McAllister has been our best so far. Hobart moves over to left guard, and we have Williams over at the left tackle spot, and that passed. Not a great spot for Stroud. I like the one-on-one attempt, but need that maybe a little bit more on the inside and definitely higher up. Use the height advantage when we have it. As we go with the draw, Akers, good block there from Jarrett, trying to get the edge bumped out by Walker, but another first down rush for Cam Akers. But yeah, we do hope that this shaken up offensive line definitely is going to help out. Williams did play some left tackle for us earlier this season and played it pretty well. As we go with a halfback screen, just have to dip out of bounds. Didn't want to risk anything there, jumping for it. We'll go from the 2. And an opportunity for Gibson. Back in here today, was out last week with a practice injury. To cap off a drive, if he could get to the outsides, a stiff arm does apparently break the plane. I will take it. Close call. We could use a second look, but either way, for now, we've taken a lead. Now looking down the pylon here, it is close, and I don't think we ever crossed the plane there. And there would be a booth review coming down, so they have the same suspicion that I do. And I feel like this one will be overturned, though I gave us the best angle, so let's get through it. And it is 2nd and goal from the inch line. Now, I do believe that is the correct call here, as I want to get a good double team here over on the B-gap defender. Get a little kick out from the tight end, though we don't get the double, but Walker came flying in, but not strong enough. Akers caps off the drive, in which he did really well. Offensive line also did pretty well on that drive. We do still get our touchdown and do still take the lead. But as the Packers retake the field through a strong push from Aaron Jones that first drive, they start back with him as Nick Bell is there, though back to the line of scrimmage, so no tackle for a loss to start here. And with us using the 52 defense, we do have 3 nose tackles out there, or DTs out there, so hopefully we'll see some better play against the run, and that'll probably be the plan moving forward throughout this game. As we do end the first quarter with a strong drive from the offense, answering back from an okay drive from the defense. Oh, that's something we hope to build upon. Now, we are still missing Lawson. We have the rookie Stewart out there who does have some pretty good, I want to say it's power moves. Hopefully we see some of that, though, as Rice got beat deep here. Christian Watson taking it to the house. I don't believe we were in press coverage there. We'll have to take a second look to see what happened to Rice. but that downfield threat definitely came through here for the young quarterback. With that 96 throw power, 85 deep accuracy, they found him on the dot. And we were not playing in press coverage. He was supposed to have the deep protection, but he got sucked down by someone here. We see Watson going down the side. He steps up, but there's really no one else for him to be drawing into coverage. So broken Madden, maybe a little bit of some awareness or play rec problems. And that really hasn't been much of a problem for Rice this year, but does leave us down 10-7 with our offense once again needing to answer. As we start with the A set, go with a quick throw, but it's too far out in front. And now Avila shaken up at right guard. And that will, of course, shake up our offensive line once again. So Dickinson back out at left tackle. Williams slides down to left guard, and Hobart moves over to right guard. We're just going to have to keep changing this offensive line as we do not get much of a spin there. A tackle at the line leaves 3rd and long. And Saucedo, the name sounds familiar. I feel like that might be a draftee that I liked but didn't go after. He makes a play, but we got to make a play here. Needing someone on the crossing power, we go with Nakua, who breaks one tackle, but not going to get by. Is it Campbell? I believe 4th and 4. Probably need to punt. And now we definitely need the defense to come through for us, as we've gotten beat in the pass and the rush on 2 separate drives. So we need to make sure we clean some of that up as they go right back to the deep play, and holding on to it, I think, is Dobbs. They seem to be picking on Rice today. Might need to flip him around maybe with Paulson Adebo if they keep going after him. See if that helps out as they now go out to the not Randall Cobb, but a new Cobb here for the Packers. And we do have word once again on the injury to Avila, and he is out the remainder of this game. As they go with some play action, we bit on it. They're going to toss this one over to their fullback, who gets them down to the 22. We'll say so far seeing some pretty good accuracy from McLeod at all levels, though we haven't been in his face. He's had a clean pocket most of the time. Has it again as they go across the middle. Cobb with a gain of 9. And that improves McLeod to 5 of 6 on the day as they go with a little inside zig. Smith almost into the end zone, down at the 1. Packers definitely have not had a hard time moving the ball today, despite not having a very high ranking for points per game, or as we send the blitz missing on the dive, and somehow that goes through 3 different players' hands out of the back of the end zone. And that play honestly made me forget what we were talking about before then. As they're setting up another pass, sack comes in, it's Luke Peak. I think we were talking about pressure. We missed on a sack, don't this time. Make it 3rd and goal back at the 7. And that at least makes it 1 sack for a defensive lineman in each of the last 2 games. So some improvement for sure there. As McLeod looking to roll, instead throws it out of the back. They'll have to settle for the field goal. And that will keep it a 1 touchdown game going towards halftime, as we're under 3 minutes left here. Field goal unit out and right down the middle to make it 13-7. But we do not need to rush. We have plenty of time, plus all 3 timeouts. And this is only our 2nd or 3rd offensive drive. Haven't really had enough time to get things gelling yet, but we've seen some good play from the running game, so definitely do not want to get away from that, but we could use some big pop plays through the air as well. A little bit of some play action. Gonna roll to the right-hand side. We have an open guys, Palmer with the catch. Just evading the dive from Walker and scamping out of bounds at the 48. We'll say Walker has been all over the field for the Packers, probably the most impactful Packers defender so far today. As we have 2 spread either side. Nakua gets just rocked at the line. We get the ball out for Corey Davis, staying inbounds, getting the first, and then heading out at the 2-minute warning. Now, I'm sorry I gotta do this to you, Nakua, but we almost traded for Van Ness, and watch what he does to our receiver on this play. Talk about press coverage. Soon as that ball snapped, just trucks the dude at the line. That's definitely one way for an edge rusher to play a little bit of some slot corner or even just cover backer roll. As we spread wide here, once again we got a one-on-one with Jarrett, who maybe had a step and does beat Jair Alexander. When he doesn't have help, he's not a top-end corner, and the rookie proves it there. One heck of a job from this offense to answer as quickly as we continually do, as we're now up 14-13. Packers now have their chance at a 2-minute drive, which they start dumping it off to Jones, who does break the tackle, but they're actually going to give him a pretty good amount of yards on that. Say forward progress is a gain of 3, leaving second and 7, though the clock rolling did not get out of bounds. As they dump it off again for Jones, who is going to get picked up and dropped by Graham. He's had enough of these bad tackles. A lot of frustration definitely built up into that one, as we're just over a minute here left in the first half. Once again, dumping it off, Jones not going to get by Curse. Great open field tackle. And they will finally elect to call a timeout there. Not in a no huddle. Madden, maybe just fix these little things and people wouldn't hate you. Well, there is just over that minute. 1:03 on the clock. They now have a pair of timeouts as they're going deep. Curse trying to help out over the top, but we didn't need it. Ball overthrown. And that was something you didn't see all too much of last week. He has 85 deep accuracy, so you're going to see a little bit of some inaccuracy, and that one was at least close. That one you got to blame Cobb. It was on his man, and he dropped it. 4th and 7, they should punt, leaving us with 50-ish seconds and 3 timeouts. Or make that 46 seconds and still those 3 timeouts, but with about 80 yards to go for a touchdown, though field goal range around the 35. Though still a whole lot of space to go. As we go to the outside, gonna find Palmer with a good throw. We're seeing much better accuracy here out of our quarterback, whose all of his accuracies are above a 90. Now what we should be seeing is not perfectly placed passes every time, but some pretty good placement. And that I feel like would be pretty good for us. As we have a one-on-one, try to get the quick stop, it's Ayers. The rookie finally makes a play, trying to get him out there a little bit with Terrence Marshall out this week with a practice injury. Let's call one of the timeouts there. 35 seconds on the clock with a nice chunk gain. Now while that is nice to see and we should be in field goal range, also feel like we should have had some slightly better coverage there from the corner, though don't know who it was on and what their ratings are, but something to note. As we're going to have to roll here, we had an option downfield, and we'll get rid of that one, avoid the sack. We could have taken a shot to Palmer, was a one-on-one, maybe had the step, but we've lost that step a lot of recent. So instead we'll go to Akers here, trying to get a block. We don't get it from Palmer, but we get the first down out of bounds with 2 timeouts still in our pockets and 24 seconds on the clock. Now what I would love to find here is a crossing route from Nakua. Though they cover that pretty well, ride him down the field, pass rush coming in, we'll have to get rid of it. 18 seconds left, 2nd and 10. Perhaps we try to do something they maybe aren't expecting all too much, again with those pair of timeouts. Go with a halfback dive right down the middle, Akers bursting through, diving, rushing down to the 3. We called that second timeout. With 1 remaining, we're at the 3, sitting pretty good here before half. And once again, I want to target Nakua here, who's going to go out on the zig, though they do cover that pretty well, so we'll roll, and there's a little bit of an inaccuracy that should have been a touchdown. We will still see some of those. I don't want to get rid of those completely because that does happen. But with 2nd and goal, a little bit of some RPO here. See if we could get it out to Nakua with a blocker in front, and he spins into the end zone. Not the cleanest block from Palmer, but just enough to spring us for a touchdown as we have taken a 2-score lead here before half. Or at least we could if we went for 2, but I'm going to be smart here. Instead, we'll make it an 8-point lead, making it a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. A safer call here and a pretty good way to end the first half. And doing it at Lambeau feels even better as we are up 21-13, a really good performance through the air in that first half offensively, just under 200 yards. Defense, overall, they're doing pretty well with some things. Could do a little bit better with others. Only one other game happening right now is Chicago, as they're currently up against the Lions 21-6. And that's about all the updates we really have for you here. So as we get tuned back into our game, we are going to be starting off this second half with the ball. We're already up 8 points, and we could go ahead and grow that. As we try to find a little bit of a lane, that lane disappeared just as quickly as I found it. We'll start at the 21 as Stroud and the offense head out. Now, we started off that first half seeing a whole lot of success through the running game. The second quarter, we changed things up. We're passing a whole lot. I want to try to get a little bit more rushing involved in this second half and see how well we do there. And in mixed with that, we might see a little bit more of some RPO. We do have one called up here. We'll see how the corner reacts. So we'll get it out there. Actually going to be a pretty good gain as Palmer doesn't squeeze out the first. I think that's some bad spotting. We definitely were closer than where they have this one marked, but we'll go at it here. 3rd and 1. Needing to pick up a good block, which we do from Williams, bringing Akers forward to the 40 with that first down locked in. Gotta make it as hard for them as possible not to give us the first down. That's essentially how you beat the refs. Just make it near impossible for them to mess it up. As you get this one out for DeGuara, he secures the catch, but only a gain of 1. But I do feel like the offensive line doing pretty well so far in this one. We did boost the pass blocking a little bit. We'll have to compare, well, essentially after the film room study of how it really has affected us, as again, we only gain 1. Now the Packers do have some decent rushers. Obviously Rashad Gary pretty good. Haven't seen him be much of an effect yet, or really affect the game much, is probably a better way of saying it. But still need to keep an eye on that as we're going to rush here with Stroud, who takes the hit and takes an injury as well. Though he does get up, he's going to head to the bench, so slightly promising. But maybe next time we don't rush him and try to truck some defenders. So Bo Harold comes out for a big play here, 4th and 1. Goal line set, we hand it off, Akers down the middle, does squeeze out that first down, just not a whole lot of space. And our best guess is that it is a shoulder injury for Stroud, as he's getting that worked out on the sideline. As for now, Bo Harold remaining out there, trying to set up a pass play for him. We swing it out to Akers, try to get the juke back in, but a really secure tackle. And what is with all these 1-yard gains? Guess the game just trying to egg me on to go with a deep shot here. So let's go with some play action, see if that opens anything up downfield. Although they cover it really well and cover all the other receivers really well, we lose 2. Now that leaves us with a 3rd and long. Needing 11 here at around the 38 for the first down. Gonna try to set up the halfback screen once again. We do get it out to Gibson, but that was the most awkward setup screen I think I've ever seen, as it's 4th and 6 at the 44. And I just want to know if we could get this defensive line to jump off sides at all. So let's give it a go. Hard count 1, no one jumps. Hard count 2, someone did. I honestly didn't see any movement, but I do wear glasses. Apparently it's going to be on us though, so we'll punt. The Packers defense does ultimately come through for their offense, giving them a chance to try to level this game up. Again, they will need a touchdown and the 2-point conversion, and a really good release there from Cobb. And what kind of angle is that from Curse? It might be a 1-play touchdown as Swain can't get the tackle at the end. The tight end, Josh Cobb, goes the distance. They'll have to go for 2, though, to tie the game after a really poor tackle attempt from Curse. But they are going for that 2-point early on here, considering they still have a whole other quarter. They're going to go with the toss, try to get some blockers out there. Jones breaks 1, but not into the end zone. Curse at least gets that tackle, leaving this a 2-point ball game. But in good news, Stroud headed out with the offense. As we take over at the 22, Gibson out there, some fresh legs at running back. With a little bit of some space, trying to burst down the side here. Stiff arm really doesn't ever work as an injury comes in. It's Rasheem Green for the Packers. You will end up heading to the locker room. Looking like that might have been a wrist or forearm injury. As we're just outside 2 minutes here left in the 3rd quarter. Gonna go with the drag route. Finding Tommy Tremble turning up just in time. Picking up a solid chunk, around 15, maybe more, to the 40. Definitely want to try to utilize some of these quick throws, some of these underneath plays if they're open. That's something I feel like we definitely missed out on earlier on, at least this season, trying to get back to it. As we have another drag, it's going to be Ayers with the catch, holding on to it as Walker comes in, applying the hit. And Stroud having himself a pretty good game. 15 of 20, obviously had the earlier knock. Hopefully we don't see that affect his throwing too much as this game moves on as Gibson picks up the first down. Still having ourselves these close games, and it's these close games that we have not been able to finish this year. If we could find a way to do that, That would be fantastic, as Jarrett has the inside release and a second touchdown. He's taken on Jair Alexander, this time Stokes. A touchdown on each one of them. And in a way, we have essentially flipped this game around. In that first half, we were constantly the one trying to keep up with the Packers scoring. In the second half right now, it's the Packers trying to keep up with us. And while I did say before half it was a 2-score game, I was incorrect, but it is now a 2-score game as we are up 9 points heading into the fourth quarter. Both teams have gotten a whole lot through the passing. Honestly, these stats for the most part are pretty similar. But we've just been able to get the job done slightly more consistently. As the Packers start this fourth quarter, making a check here. They're going to have 3 receivers off to the right-hand side. 1 to the left is Dobbs for 2nd and 5. Sending some guys deep. Leaving a guy underneath is Dobbs wide open as Adebo gets the stop, but a first down up to the 42. And one thing we've definitely done different in this game is switching up a lot more between running some man and zone, as the drop there, I want to say, was Smith. Perhaps heard the footsteps of Chanel? I'm pretty sure it's Chanel or I remember looking it up earlier on after we traded for him, but just cannot remember now. As they check this one down, going to Cobbs, who did pick up their previous touchdown. We do a much better job in coverage that time, leaving 3rd and 6. Expect a pass here from them. They have not gone to Aaron Jones much this second half, as they get once again a good release there from Cobb, beating Murray Jr. in the man-on-man. I will say at that linebacker spot in strong safety, we don't have as good of the man coverage as I would hope, but it's really good everywhere else. As they're going deep here, it's going to be out of the back of the end zone, but Adebo helps escort it out of bounds, ensuring nothing crazy happens. But outside of the Luke Peak sack close to the end zone, we have not seen much from these pass rushers today, but providing some pressure here, it's Bell, who does just grab a hold of that leg of McLeod. Dragging him down will be a 3rd and 25. Occasionally when I speak of it, it does arrive, though I've spoke of it a lot and it doesn't always happen to arrive, though that would be nice. As they're sending everyone deep, it's Rice trying to sit underneath and he gets lucky. That foot landed out of bounds. It should have been a catch inside the 5. We get bailed out for sure, leaving 4th and 25. I can't really say 4th in game yet, because Madden does love its shenanigans as they go deep. Swain! How did he lose track of where that ball was? It should have been an easy pick for the rookie. Instead, Reed gets him down to the 12. And just when the luck goes your way, it then goes against you, as it's a massive gain for him. Reed, I feel like his first catch. We send the quick blitz. Graham right down the middle as Elton Jenkins shaken up for this Packers offensive line. And the fact that they did have the Elton Jenkins plus Bakhtiari, maybe that kind of shows a little bit why we weren't getting too much in terms of pass rush. As they check this one down, Chanel comes down to get the stop. But once again, we have ourselves a 3rd down here. 3rd and long, they need a first down just inside the 2, or the touchdown here, as they have a bunch to the right-hand side. A lot of crossing patterns. We get some pressure, and we force the throwaway for another 4th down. But being down 2 possessions, they will take the field goal here. Sitting at about the 17, I think. That'll be about a 27-yarder, and it's easily right down the middle for the Packers, cutting this to a 1-possession game. Though they would need the touchdown to take the lead. Field goal doesn't really help them, so we need to run some clock here, as we're still up 28-22, under 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. As we nearly break away there, Van Ness saves a big play and another gain of 1. I'm just seeing way too many of these 1-yard rushes in this second half. As we're definitely running clock, though. Trying to get this one to Gibson with some space, and we lose the 1. I would have taken a gain of 1. And that leaves us with 3rd and long, and us needing to pick up the first down to continue to run some clock here. Don't trust the running game to do it, so we'll go back to the air. Rolling, we have a guy coming across. It's going to be a play at the sideline. Palmer does not get the catch in bounds. It was close. And we nearly got it. Probably too quick for you to see there, but as Palmer comes in, he gets the catch, That right foot lands, left foot just skims over the grass, doesn't touch, and it's not a first down. So once again, we've let an opportunity to seal a game slip through our fingers. And now a chance for the Packers to try to take the game as they start with Cobb, who picks up 10. McLeod over 350 passing as we hit the 2-minute warning. We have yet to see any of our defensive players really make a big play in the passing game today, and now would be a perfect opportunity. As they set up the halfback screen, they're not going to give us an opportunity downfield, but Graham reads it, gets the tackle for a loss of 1. And on top of that, keeps this clock moving as we're about at a minute, now under a minute and a half. 2nd and 11 at the 34 with a quick throw overthrowing Cobb. Again, he does not have good short or medium accuracy. Their best bet is deep shots, and they've gotten some today. With a 3rd and 11, McLeod making a check. Looks like a hot route maybe to the left-hand side. Though they go the opposite way, and Debo was sitting there. Should have been a pick, at least a knockaway. Instead, another first down for Cobb. Clutch just as the previous Cobb was, as they find Dobbs. Right by Debo again. There, should have made a better play, but he didn't. Now we're about 45 seconds and counting. We do have still 3 timeouts, so do we, as they just overthrow Cobb. Once again, going his way often. Though good news, he's not on the field here. They have to check in their backup tight end, 88 on this left-hand side. As they go instead right down the seam, it's Reed into the end zone. That ties this game up. Extra point puts them in front. How many times is this team gonna give away a win in the 4th quarter? As the extra point is right down the middle, we have 35 seconds to find a winner. We've been able to hit field goals from around the 50, maybe a little bit more, but I would prefer to not have to take as long of a shot. As we start here on offense, gonna go right down the seam. It's Corey Davis already with a big chunk. First timeout called. We're past the 50. So for about a 50-yard field goal, you're looking for around that 35. To be more safe here, would prefer, obviously, the touchdown. As we're going to have 3 off to the right-hand side. Going to try to roll out. We had a guy deep. Instead, we just need to get rid of this one right before the sack comes in. Now, they are saying target is the 38 for a field goal for Brown. With us having timeouts, let's try to go with a little bit of a run. Gibson, nowhere. Why can we not run the ball here? As we get back to the line here, saving these timeouts. We're around 10 seconds here. Need to find somewhere. How about right down the middle? Corey Davis, though the ball not placed well, and he does not bring it in. 5 seconds left. Probably should have called a timeout. But with 5 seconds left, we could try to set up a quick field goal, though likelihood of that difficult to say, or we try to go with a deep shot. We'll see what the first glance here looks like, and it's going to have to be the deep shot to Jarrett, who's going to have to try to sneak under, and it was in his hands. But the cornerback safety knocks it away. They covered the slants well. That was the first look. Was hoping we could get Nakua with a quick gain, call a timeout, send out Brown. But it's another game we lose where we should have won this game, and it literally and figuratively slipped through our fingers. But taking a look at the positives, I think this was a very smooth gameplay that we saw today. We obviously knew that McLeod had some really good deep accuracy. The medium was iffy, sometimes good, sometimes bad, and the short was just bad. And that is really what we saw. We gave up a lot of deep plays, even some medium that turned into deep with some bad tackling. But all in all, I like what we see here a whole lot better. 65 completion percentage. Obviously, they threw for a lot of yards because they stopped running the ball despite having success with it. But completing 21 of 32, he had a good quarterback rating. So did we. Stroud had his misses. I still want some misses. Could have been a little bit more accurate, but 3 touchdowns, 65% completion. All in all, I think that was a pretty solid day. That's what you're going to see from a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL currently. But really the main problem for us today was Josh Cobb. Dude went off, and in man coverage, we could not cover the guy. I do want to take a look at what the ratings are in terms of what our linebackers and safeties man coverage are, because that was primarily who Josh Cobb was lined up against. Now, starting at safety, again, going to take a look at these cover ratings. J-Ron Curse. He has 72 man with a current morale regression, taking away 2 points, so it's actually a true 74. He has good awareness, though, at an 83, with play rec at an 81, actually an 82. Actually, technically, play rec and awareness both are true 82. So I expect him to, struggle with some man coverage, and when it was his time in man, he definitely was. As for our cover linebackers, Kenneth Murray definitely got beat several times, and his man coverage is a 66, zone coverage a true 73. So we don't have extremely great covered backers, but there is something there, at least with Kenneth Murray. As for the other guy, Ethan Graham, who I don't think was ever really matched up one-on-one against him in this one. He has 57 man coverage, but 73 zone. So a much better zone cover linebacker group, which is difficult because, again, we have some really good man cover for our cornerback group going through the top, well, even all of them, 85, 85, 78, 78, and 77 to the bottom of our roster there. So our cornerback group is solid there. So we might have to play around with that a little bit, find some more cover one opportunities, maybe leave the linebackers in some quarterback spies if need be. Now, before we make our final judgment though, I do want to see what Cobb's route running is, because if he doesn't have good route running, then that shouldn't quite matter as much to what our man coverages are. Now, he's an 80 overall, getting a little bit of a boost, and he does have pretty good for tight ends, short and medium route running. So I could see him getting open more often than not. The amount he was beating him today, I'm not quite sure. We have a lot of speed to match his speed. Acceleration, though, is also pretty good for him. I don't know exactly if we match up well with that, but overall, Josh Cobb is actually a pretty good looking tight end. So from an overall standpoint, I do think the changes we made today definitely helped us out. The gameplay was smooth. I don't think there was ever really a point in the game where I'm like, that is just a straight up broken play in Madden, not necessarily just a rating that was affecting the play like what we saw against Cobb. The man coverage, we don't have great man coverage. I want to find a strong safety with good man coverage to help us out against these tight ends. So that is definitely what I'm looking for when we get to the off season for sure. Besides that, I like what the slider set gave us. It was a competitive game, yet it was difficult. And the mistakes we made bit us in the butt at the end. With a 29-28 loss, we're at least getting some close games here, so we're definitely making progress, at least in finding ways to fix Madden franchise while also still having that difficulty. Let me know what you thought down below. Also want to shout out the offensive line. I think they did pretty well today, despite the injuries. I'll be able to confirm that after going through the film room, aka editing. But yeah, definitely think they played pretty well. If you think the game seemed too easy at any point, do definitely let me know. Again, I think it was pretty smooth. We still lost the game. It was a close, good battle, and that's what I'm looking for here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to see the slider set once again, let me just pull that up here at the end. For the most part, they are primarily Mat 10 sliders. We did raise up the pass blocking by 1. That looked pretty good. We raised up the tackling, I believe, by 1. And we weren't missing out on tackles that we really should have gotten. And the tackles that were broke made sense. We lowered the quarterback accuracy, I want to say 2 to 40. And I believe that was all the changes we made. Everything else is strictly what Mat 10 released. And I think we got some pretty good results as well. So all in all, I'm very happy with today's episode despite the loss. And I hope you guys are as well. If you are, definitely let me know by hitting that bell icon on the bottom right or scrolling down to the actual subscription button. And definitely make sure you tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday with the state-only challenge, which currently, the Central Plains might end on Saturday if we do not make the Super Bowl in Season 5. We missed out losing in the Super Bowl in Season 3, had a Super Bowl hangover Season 4, need to bounce back in the last and final season. Otherwise, it will go back as our second failed state-only challenge and would be 2 in a row. So a lot on the line. Hope you guys look forward to that one, and we'll see you next time. Bye.